What's going on, everybody? It's Faye Dating Coach Elliot Scott, and as you can see by the title below, we're going to talk about the number one thing that women do, or that a woman does, that destroys her value in the dating market, or specifically when she is talking to a specific person. So, jumping right into this, I want to start off with an analogy. Bear with me. It's going to be very useful. You will understand this right when I tell you the analogy, okay? But I want to use the analogy of a video game I play called League of Legends. So, in this game, it's 5v5, okay? It's 5 people versus 5 people. And, obviously you're 4 other teammates. And you guys are going into the field, this battle arena, and you are trying to take over the enemy's base. Now, doing so, the way you get stronger throughout the game is racking up gold. You rack up gold by doing little missions on the map. You kill the teammates, you kill their little minion, or not teammates, you kill the opposing team, you kill their minions and stuff like that. And you rack up gold and you go back to your base and you buy upgrades. Now, all this takes time, right? So there's a time limit in the upper corner of the map, or the map. And as time goes by, you're wanting to get stronger, right? But that's not always the case, because if someone's beating you, you're what I call behind the curve, okay? Because you're supposed to be a certain strength at 10 minutes. You're supposed to be a certain strength at 20 minutes. You're supposed to be a certain strength at 30 minutes. And if everyone else is over here and you're right here, like, you're behind, you're weak, you got to find a way to be useful in the fight, okay? And the same thing happens with women when it comes to dating. A lot of you'll be talking to a guy and you ruin your chances because you're supposed to have a certain value along the curve. Like, it's obviously supposed to be building up, but a lot of women will do a lot of things that ruin their chances with a guy, and then they wonder why, like, he's not doing something he's supposed to be doing at this time, or like at this time. Like, why is he not asking me out? Why is he not putting forth effort? Why is he not courting me? Why is he not investing his resources? And all that kind of stuff, right? So the reason that is because you're supposed to have, over time, okay, you're supposed to have a certain value and a certain amount of power in the relationship. But what happens is, throughout this curve, you start, again, let's say you're going at a constant pace, right? So I always talk about pace. You're going at a constant pace, okay? And you screw it up, though, by sleeping with him early, okay? Or you screw it up by chasing, or you screw it up by going 50-50 on fucking dates and all that stuff. And so then, what it ends up looking like now is, this is where you should be, right? Like, you should be following this line, but instead, you're going, and then you do this, and then it kind of, it dives off. Then you do this next thing, and it kind of dives off again. Then you do this next thing, and it's going like this now. And you're wondering why you're not getting the benefits of up here and what this is, like, what it's supposed to look like, and you're down here with a big old question mark wondering what's going on. And that's because, ladies, you have to understand there is a curve with dating. There is a certain amount of value a woman upholds the longer she does things correctly. And when I say correctly, I don't mean like, oh, you got to hold out to the end, or don't ever pay 50-50, or don't ever reach out to a guy. No. But there are certain times you should be doing that. So, for example, like, if you hold out forever, right? If you hold out forever, well, then yeah, it might go like this, and then he's like, it's going to get to a point where he's like, really? And then it's going to start diving off. Or if you never reach out, right? Like, again, I'm not saying you shouldn't be blowing up a guy's shit early on, but later on, if he's the one always reaching out, again, it's going to go like this, and it's going to start diving off. You have to play the game correctly by following the curve. Now, if you want more information on this, I got a lot of this in my guides. I don't have pacing exactly, but I have the things you guys should be doing, should not be doing, the things that attract men, that men respond to, that get men to maximize his attraction for you. I have those guides, links down below. But I hope you understand what I'm getting at with this. Like, if you do everything correctly, it's supposed to look a certain way, okay? It's when you start, right, value, power over time. But it's when you start messing up, and I'm just doing this for more of a visual, like how you should be looking at things. But when you start messing up, that's when you start getting these little divots, and you start, they start going down and stuff like that, and it just starts looking ugly like this drawing, okay? So I just want to keep that, I just want you to keep that in mind. It's a very short video, but it is a good way to look at it, that there is a imaginary, whether you see it or not or experience it or not, it is there. There is a curve. And you got to understand that a guy is playing the game too, right? So he's looking at it the same way. Let me erase all this in my hand. I apologize. So he's looking at it the same way. Here's his curve. His curve does really well. His curve does really well if he courts you, if he's consistent, if he's in his masculine, if he holds his ground, if he takes lead, if he doesn't push for sex, right? Like his curve is really good. His curve goes down though when he pushes for sex too much, so obviously that's going to dive real fast. His curve drops when he's doing too much, more than he should be doing. His curve dives when he doesn't pay 50-50. You get what I'm saying? Like it starts to just kind of like curve off. When he's playing the games the same way too, his curve dives off. Now, you might not think so. A lot of women are not going to agree with me on this, but when and I'm going to actually explain why that is. If he waits too long for sex. Now, you'd be like, wow, Elliot, that's effed up. Really? You're going to tell a guy to push for sex? I'm not saying force you or anything. I'm just saying, like, when a guy's dating a woman for so long and he's not getting it, you have to understand, I write it all the time on this goddamn board. Again, I'm not saying you are obligated to give him anything. I am not saying he is entitled to it. He has to earn it, and that is up to you, okay? But this is a game of risk. That's what people do not understand. People do not like when I talk about this, but this is a game of risk. Now I got to erase all this now, see? If we're going through, and I have a video on this, I should just link it, but if we're going through the stages of a relationship or situationship towards a relationship, right? So this is meeting. This is, I guess, I'll say courting. I guess we'll say courting. This isn't how I wrote it in the other video, but I'm going to do it times 2, like a little more courting, like serious courting. Sex. Then this is after sex, obviously, like how the situation is after sex. And this is relationship. Again, I apologize for the horrible writing. But what I always tell my clients is, here's the way the power dynamics work. And again, hopefully you can read this again, one more time. Meeting each other. I guess you can say this is first date, for first date, then courting, like he's actually like seriously courting you, then you guys hook up, then this is how the relationship dynamic is after sex, and then relationship. What you have to understand is a guy loses, no, I'm not gonna put it like that, power dynamics. Let me change the colors actually, it'd be easier if I did that. A woman has power here, I guess that's kind of neutral actually, but here, stuff like that. She has power more in the beginning. This is kind of neutral. That could be neutral. But the courting stage, woman has a lot of power. Now, when I show that curve and I'm like, he waits and he's waits and waits and waits and waits, like that's her just extending this time, okay? And it's because it benefits her. I'm not saying she shouldn't, but you can only do it for so long to where it's like, what's it called? Not self-fulfilling problem. Diminishing returns, where it's like, okay, well, what am I doing? Like, where's this going? Blah, blah, blah. And she doesn't put out, but he's talking to her for 3, 4, 5, 6 months. That's crazy. That's crazy. I'm sorry, but that's crazy. So what ends up happening is a woman, I call it slowing it down, right? Like she wants to slow this aspect of it down, okay, while he wants to speed it up. He wants to speed it up. Then when you guys have sex, okay, well now he's in power here. And of course, he wants to slow this down. We'll just put slow here. He wants to slow this down and you want to speed it up, right? Let me write it wrong. Speed it up. That's how it works on average, ladies. When you're going through these stages, whoever has power wants to slow it down and get everything they can out of it. But you do have to transition because of what I said with the graph. Like eventually it's going to be a point where it's like, okay, well, what are we doing here? And again, on both sides. So he's going to only wait so long, and it's like, well, what the fuck? And at the same time, you're only going to put up with this so much before you're like, hey, that's why I say the 8 weeks thing, where you're like, what's going on here, dude? What's going on? And if you don't get a relationship, well, you're done. But anyway, what I'm getting at is when we have the power, we want to slow it down to get the most out of it. It's just like we're all about being resourceful as a species. That's how we got as far as we did. While him at the same time, it's a risk. The longer I stay here, not getting this side of it, it's like, well, what are we doing here? I'm investing in her. I'm reaching out. I'm doing everything right. I'm courting her. I'm making dates. I'm being chivalrous. I'm respecting her boundaries. But again, like your benefit, I don't care what a woman says, trust me on this, you're benefiting more than he is on that. Fuck all that, like, oh, but he gets to know me and what we have is special. Stop with all that. I don't know where people read that shit from. Probably other dating coaches. You know who I'm talking about. All those corny ass dating coaches. That's not an effing thing in the dating market. You can look at any paper on like evolutionary psychology. That's not how we thought. That is not how we thought for the longest time. Now, emotionally, yes, you feel those things. But I'm talking about more deeper, like more instinctual. That is not, again, I don't even know why I'm explaining myself, because you just look at you just look at your like past relationships with guys where you do this shit and it doesn't work out, or vice versa, right? But I know people might counter that with, well, when I put out early, the same thing. I'm not saying put out early. I'm saying do the damn game correctly and get my guides, okay? But anyway, sorry for my tangent. People want to slow it down because you want to benefit it. People want to speed it up when they don't have the power because they want to get past that stage because it's risky. So they transition over here, and then vice versa. They want to slow it down and you want to speed it up. But what I'm getting at is the main goal, obviously, is right here. I'd say a woman actually benefits here more than the man. But yes, anyway. Let me draw it here again. Sorry, I'm all over the place. That graph right here, okay? That graph is based on going through this little thing right here, okay? Going through the journey of the relationship. That's right here, okay? So, with that being said, ladies, if you want to work with yours truly, link is down below. If you want to get my guides that go more into all this kind of stuff, again, links are down below. I love you all. Take care and peace.